Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar on making the most of the Future Leaders experience. I'm Carol Abel, Vice President of Education Program Development for FMI. For the last few months, my colleague Lori Geffen and I, and a team of highly dedicated committee members and consultants, have been constructing an amazing leadership experience for you. We are thrilled today to share what we have in store for you next month.
And I'm Lori Geffen, Director of Education at FMI. I echo Carol's welcome. We're excited about the upcoming Future Leaders event, and we want to share information about the event today to help you prepare for it. Before we get started, we have just a couple housekeeping matters. One is to review FMI's antitrust policy. FMI believes strongly in competition, and our antitrust laws are the rules under which our competitive system operates. It's FMI's policy to comply with such laws, so we'll have to avoid discussions of sensitive topics such as pricing that can create antitrust concerns. We also want to familiarize you with the webinar screen and to let you know today's webinar is being recorded and it will be available as an archived program for you to rewatch or to share with your colleagues. Due to the number of participants in today's webinar, all phone lines have been muted. If you have any questions or comments during the webinar, you can submit the questions in the pod in the bottom corner of the screen.
As a participant in this webinar, you are very likely one of two groups of people. You may be an individual who is registered to attend this year's program. You've probably heard about Future Leaders from your colleagues or your supervisor, or you may have heard details about past programs or actually experienced teach-back sessions from your colleagues. Or the other group, you are a company group leader who is participating in order to take back information to help prepare your company team. If you are in this category, you are even more likely to already know some things about Future Leaders. Maybe you've attended before, or if not, you've at least done your research to understand what you're getting your associates into. But the 2017 event is not quite what you think you know. It is quite different than the Future Leaders that you know or have heard about from the past. Our goals today are to share those differences, explain the content and activities, help everyone understand what they can expect and how to engage fully, and most important, get you excited about what you'll experience and the tools and stories you'll bring back home when you leave. We all have seen how swiftly business, society, and especially the food retailing industry have changed over the last few years. Many of the ways this industry has done business for decades are changing, and there are both new challenges and new opportunities every day to better serve customers and deliver the products and services they want. But while the pace of change has rapidly increased, and some of you may feel some days as though our world is nearly unrecognizable, one thing remains constant throughout the industry. In everyone I talk to and everything I read about food retailing, the biggest differentiator, the biggest asset, and the biggest opportunity in our industry is our people. The staff members that companies have carefully selected and mentored and nurtured as they embark on their career journey and move up the ladder. FMI knows how hard our member companies have worked to build their teams. And with Future Leaders eXperience, we offer an opportunity to build those teams up.
We've taken a close look at leadership and management training needs for today and tomorrow, and we've begun with this event to create a new paradigm that will give you, some of your company's highest potential employees, current leaders, and rising stars, the opportunity to step back from your daily routine for a few days and hone the skills that will be required as you assume greater leadership roles in your stores, your companies, and in our industry.
As we have redesigned the Future Leaders Conference that you've heard about from the past to reflect today's workplace realities, and we've changed the name to emphasize the difference. In 2017, Future Leaders is not just a conference, but it's an experience where you will be expected to engage fully and use your current skills and background to build new tools to take home. We know that in the future, it will be vital that we all work together as teams. There are no more lone wolves in management. There is no single individual in a company's leadership structure who has all the answers. So, at Future Leaders eXperience, we'll take a new learning laboratory approach where you'll be working together in teams to challenge assumptions and move out of your comfort zones, which is exactly what will be required of you as you take on the responsibilities and opportunities of industry leaders as we move into the 21st century. These teams will be cross-functional and cross-company, and you'll stay with your same group throughout the experience. You'll be part of a group of about 8 to 10 people that could include attendees from other companies, other parts of the country, different areas of the operation, and even from companies on the other side of the supplier-retailer table. You will meet your team for the first time online via a communications app a few weeks before the event. This will allow you to get to know each other ahead of time. One of the greatest values of Future Leaders for past attendees has been exposure to the broader industry outside their companies. And this is one thing that we have kept and have built upon with this team structure that will both reinforce this benefit and offer firsthand experience with other perspectives and approaches. During evening activities, meals, and breaks, you'll be able to regroup with your own company colleagues and share all of your new insights learned from your new team members.
So, given how quickly business is moving today, we know that familiar approaches to doing the work won't always cut it. The workplace now is really a series of experiences and challenges that must be met, not with old solutions, but with creative thinking and, again, with teamwork. That's why the days that participants will spend at Future Leaders eXperience will be divided into 4 themes, each of which offer vital information in keynote presentations, in the experience sessions that follow where you work in teams, and with tools that you'll need to lead your company teams in the future. The 4 themes we are focusing on at Future Leaders 2017 are team building, peak performance, industry trends, and storytelling. These 4 program areas are offered in half-day segments. They start off with a keynote speaker, and they're followed by workshops, which due to their unique nature and that whole team setup we've mentioned, we are calling experiences. During each experience, the teams will go through a series of exercises that will help you build tools that are needed as you take responsibilities for the industry and your company's future. Set new goals, develop roadmaps to achieve the goals, lead the way, and communicate a clear, understandable vision to those you manage and work with.
Each day's activities will open with a thought-provoking keynoter who will get us thinking about some of the most urgent content that leaders in food retailing need to know. So on Sunday afternoon, as we kick off the entire event and begin the team building segment, Gary Magenta will speak. Gary is the author of The Unbossy Boss and 720 Haircuts. He is an expert in leadership and team building in a customer-centric world. And his session will be a highly experiential and interactive keynote, and he will take us on a transformational journey that focuses on developing the critical capabilities of leaders of teams. This will be a session that I know everyone will remember. On Monday morning, we cover peak performance with Charles Duhigg, who is a New York Times reporter and best-selling author. And he will provide secrets on how to be more productive in your work, how to make your teams more productive as well. Charles looks at what separates the merely busy from the genuinely productive. Through case studies and engaging stories, he will explain how people and companies become smarter, faster, and better. Monday afternoon, Leslie Saracen, FMI President and CEO, will keynote the industry trends segment. She'll give participants a first-hand look at the results of FMI's 2017 U.S. Grocery Shopper Trends Study. She'll be honing in on the particular consumer trends around transparency and trust that are driving a whole host of consumer expectations and company needs today. I'm sure some of you have seen some of this already. On the final morning of the event, Kendra Hall will share the irresistible power of strategic storytelling. By focusing on what is a rarely taught skill, Kendra will help us to see how an essential messaging shift towards storytelling has the potential to revolutionize our organizations. She'll also provide storytelling techniques that can start rising stars on the path to becoming high-level leaders. In our closing keynote session, we'll hear from the Emmy-winning Steve Harvey, who will wrap up the Future Leaders experience with some solid advice on how to jump into the next level of success. Steve will share ideas for being more resilient, getting motivated, and taking a leap of faith toward your hopes and dreams based on his own life story and experience. We're very excited about this speaker lineup and hope that you are too.
Thanks, Carol. I'm definitely excited about our speakers, and I can't wait to see them in action in Chicago. On these next few slides, we're going to cover the overall schedule of the event. We're not going to walk through everything on the schedule, but we wanted to point out a few things along the way. On Sunday, June 11th, registration opens at 10 a.m. And we will be outside the Grand Ballroom at McCormick Place Convention Center. The room is also known as S100. Please be sure to leave plenty of time to register before the conference opens at 2 p.m. You'll have a learning journal and a badge to pick up, a team table assignment to locate, and you'll want to find the meal room, generally get acclimated to the space. So we recommend you get there plenty early. In some cases, if you're with a group of 10 or more from your company, you may have a company lead who will go get the entire group's badges and materials. So please check internally to see what the plan is for the attendees from your company if you're coming in a group. As Carol mentioned, the afternoon of the first day will be devoted to team building. You'll meet your fellow team members in person for the first time, learn about the importance of team building, and build connections to each other. As the afternoon unfolds, attendees will do a personal self-assessment, and the teams will discover each other's strengths. We'll start providing the tools needed to lead, inspire, and coach your own teams to deliver results. You may have seen on that first slide and on the schedule, PepsiCo Headshot Lounge. Do you have a current professional headshot? Do you want to update your LinkedIn profile photo? Frankly, I know I do. I just saw mine and it's old. We can help. You may have noticed that the schedule includes that Headshot Lounge on each day of the event. Attendees can go and stop by the lounge, take a photo, and walk away with a digital professional headshot you can use in networking. Your first opportunity to take advantage of this will be during registration hours before opening on Sunday. So that's another reason to come in early for the start, before we start at 2 that afternoon. We also have a fun event Sunday night. We'll end Momento's first day with a fun social event from 6:30 to 9:30 at Lucky Strike. Lucky Strike is an upscale bowling alley that's one of Chicago's most popular night spots. You'll enjoy food, games, and networking with new teammates, new friends, and some of your own company colleagues if they're there. If bowling isn't your game, there will be billiards, ping pong, and plenty of room to spread out and talk, and lots to eat. Shuttle buses will be provided to and from the McCormick Place Hyatt, where most people are staying, to Lucky Strike and back. On day 2, the morning's program focuses on peak performance. We want to help you perform at a peak level and learn how to help those you lead to perform at their peak levels as well. Through a series of discussions and exercises after Charles Duhigg's presentation, that's exactly what you on your teams will do. Learn how to demonstrate peak performance, both in yourselves and in your team. We'll also discuss the power of recognition in building peak performance in others.
Before we break for lunch on Monday, we will be celebrating our industry's own peak performers during the Store Manager Awards ceremony. The annual Store Manager Award goes to those men and women who generate significant sales growth, effectively communicate company goals and objectives to their teams, provide leadership and exceptional customer service, and work to build strong connections to their communities. We're pleased to have another outstanding group of finalists this year. And during this segment of the event, if you happen to have a member of your company who's being recognized, we will encourage you to gather near your finalists and cheer their success with pom-poms in company colors and a giant face kebab, all of which we will provide, featuring your finalists. Companies often go all out to honor their associates, and we're looking forward to a raucous recognition.
Carol, I think it's always gratifying to hear the amazing stories about the Store Manager finalists. I've been involved with the program for over a decade, and it's just a great one. These store managers run incredible stores, and the attention they receive for their hard work and dedication is well-deserved. So, after our morning program and feeding you with lunch, we delve into our afternoon programming, which will be focused on industry trends. As previously mentioned, FMI President and CEO Leslie Saracen will introduce the latest FMI consumer research and give everyone a chance to take a step back and look at the industry as a whole, see where it's going and what its challenges are. In the experiences that follow, the teams will work through a series of exercises designed to help convert that information into strategies you can communicate to your own teams and execute in a way to keep ahead of the business and ahead of the consumer.
Also on Monday afternoon, we have the pleasure of honoring some people who were once, like you, future leaders in the industry. These Executive Leadership Award winners have been operational wizards, marketing pioneers, service innovators, and community cornerstones. And their stories offer you inspiration and insights to propel your own leadership journeys. Perhaps in 2040, we'll be honoring one of you for your contributions to the industry.
On Monday evening, we have left it open for company dinners. Many of you are coming with company colleagues, so we hope your group is planning a get-together Monday night to relax with each other and share learnings and insights. Again, if you're coming with a company group, please check internally to find out what the plans are. On the morning of the last day, which is Tuesday, June 13th, everything that participants have learned about team building, peak performance, and industry trends will culminate in exploring how to tell that story. You'll dig into the art of storytelling and examine how you can best frame your experience, knowledge, and brand to articulate it to others. Teams will go through one last set of activities as you discover how to tell the story of your company and our industry as well as your own story.
As I mentioned during the beginning, Future Leaders eXperience is all about coming together as a cross-company, cross-functional team, making connections and learning from and with each other. In order to help you connect with your fellow participants and team members, we're using an online application that will allow you to communicate with other attendees and your specific teammates, both before, during, and after the event. Sometime tomorrow, you should receive a welcome email from FMI Future Leaders eXperience inviting you to log in to a tool referred to as Presdo. If you do not receive an email, please be sure to let us know so that you can get in on the communication and the Opportunities Network. The tool is available both online through the website and as part of the event app, and it will allow you to see who's attending, network and send messages to other attendees, find people with similar interests. I'm hoping to find some fellow book lovers and gardeners. Those are my interests. You can also meet and chat with your team members once you've been assigned. As a note, you will find out who your team members will be right after Memorial Day. We will be sending out an email through the communications tool assigning you to your teams and asking you to go through some exercises to get to know each other, perhaps find out what those interests are, whether they are books, music, a wide variety of options are available for you to generate some conversation. But you don't have to wait to hear what team you're on. You can start connecting as soon as you receive your email tomorrow. You can use your login details and create a profile by importing it from LinkedIn or creating one fresh. You may find that the system has already brought in your LinkedIn profile, and now would be a great time to update that profile or create one so that other attendees can get to know you ahead of time. You can also add interests, as I mentioned, to your profile to help you find out what you have in common with other attendees. You can send messages through the tool to anyone, not just your team members, through the communications tool, and begin working on your team get to know each other exercises once we have made those assignments. On May 23rd at 1 o'clock, FMI will be going live on Facebook to tell you more about ways you can communicate and connect before, during, and after Future Leaders, and we'll be sharing tips on how to enhance your LinkedIn profile. So feel free to join us live next week or visit our Facebook page afterwards to play the archived video. As I mentioned, the communication tool will be embedded as part of the app, and I encourage you to download the Future Leaders app before you get to Chicago. You're definitely going to want to have it because it has a number of conference resources, the schedules and room locations, the education session descriptions, speaker biographies, event map, your connection to your team, and probably most important, many of the session materials and many take-home tools and templates. One of the things that we are doing as part of Future Leaders eXperience this year is creating a number of templates that you will be able to use when you go home. These will be, some of these will be part of the Learning Journal, and others will be provided to you on the app. In addition, while at Future Leaders, you will take a self-assessment. A version of this will also be provided to you for use later on the app, and you will also be going through or learning about exercises that we are going to ask you to do as an action plan following the event, and this will be provided to you as well through the app. So as all of you probably know, this is a digital world, and your companies probably all have apps, and many of you interact perhaps with your customers through digital media, and we too are modeling this and this experience with Future Leaders. So please download that app. It will be a valuable tool for you.
Now we just wanted to go through a few things that are sort of helpful hints or tips for you and your teams as they attend this event, or your colleagues with you. Network, network, network. That's what it's all about. One of the big things when we worked with our committee, our Future Leaders Committee over the past years, is we asked them, why would you send people to this? What's different about Future Leaders? And even though we've definitely evolved the event this year, it's always been told to us that the most important thing is getting people out of their regular work day, work location, exposed to other companies, exposed to other ideas, exposed to the big picture of the industry. So this is a great chance for you to talk to others, meet others, get out of your comfort zone, as we said, and out of the connection with just your own colleagues and meet a lot of other people. So we do encourage you to attend the entire program. And in those workshop experiences that we're running, we need you to work with those assigned teams. We frankly think some of the exercises are going to be fun, some of them are going to be challenging, some of them are going to be hard, but that's the whole point. You're really going to be working on site, not just listening, but participating in your own education, and you're going to be getting a chance to hear from others, the challenges they've faced, how they've confronted them, how they've met them. You can share your own experiences, which I think will help them also. You're going to get a lot of ideas to take back with your with your own colleagues and teams at home, or at the office or store when you go back. So we really encourage you to participate fully, network fully. We will give you a learning journal. It's mostly a note-taking device, although some of the exercises are in it. Some of them are separated out as well, but we are going to make sure that you get the templates, as Carol noted. As if it's not in the book, they'll be on the app. But we do encourage you to take notes, notes to self sometimes and things you want to follow up with. However you want to use that journal, it's there for your use. The conference app, as Carol noted, is critical. We want you to download that in advance of the event and fully use it. And think about, as you go through, what is it you want to take back with you? What have you been learning? What do you want to share? A few more helpful hints. These are definitely more logistically focused, but, build an extra time. Most of you, as I noted, I think will be staying at the McCormick Place Hyatt. That's right next to the big convention center, so that'll be helpful. You won't have to be running all over the city or taking big shuttles to get everywhere. But do build an extra time to get down there, to get into the session rooms. We have, frankly, brief breaks because we have a lot to get through, so you're going to want to be cognizant of the time throughout the event. We do suggest that you wear comfortable shoes since you will be doing some walking around. Dress in layers. We often get complaints, room is too cold. We try to make it not hot, but if anything, too cold. But then we suggest you do bring a sweater or jacket in case it gets a little bit cool. There's a lot of bodies in one big room, so we got to be careful not to make it too hot. Bring your business cards so you can exchange them with people that you meet. Take the time to listen, absorb, think. We know it's going to be tightly scheduled, but when you find a spare moment or in the evenings, take a few minutes to jot down core things you learned, things you want to follow up on with your team at home, things you want to talk to your teammates that you're working with on site. Just be in the moment and working this whole time. Stay focused. This kind of ties back in with what I just mentioned. Participate fully, as I said before, and be sure to get some sleep. We want you rested and ready for every day, so it'll be exciting and you'll want to get out and about and have fun, but be sure you get some rest.
When you go home after Future Leaders, as I mentioned, you'll be going home with an action plan, some tasks and activities that we ask you to engage in with your company's teams back home. And we encourage you to stay in touch with your Future Leaders team. One of our committee members shared a story with us about how her first time she attended Future Leaders, she built some relationships that she has kept for many, many years because they were there together learning, and they've been valuable contacts as everyone has made their way through the industry. Use the event resources that are available on the app. These will be available to you after the event and can be tools that you can pull from as you go further out into the year. One good way to sort of cement what you've learned at Future Leaders is to share learnings with your colleagues. You can present updates at company meetings, teach facts to your teams, and things like that. One of the things that we say in the learning world is that the person who always learns the most in an educational setting is the instructor. So turn yourself into an instructor and prepare to share the things that you learned with your company teammates. And be sure to connect with your supervisors and or your mentors to discuss what you learned and what your experience was at Future Leaders, how you liked it, didn't like it, and what you see as your developmental needs as a result of taking the time at Future Leaders to explore new skills and the skills that you already have.
Well, FMI did not develop a program like this alone. We couldn't do it without the support of our member companies. They, after all, are the experts about what the industry is all about. We want to thank all the members of the Future Leaders Experience Committee who've worked so hard with us to put this innovative program together this year. Months of planning and thought have gone into the preparation of this event, an event that's designed to develop leaders for an industry and a workplace that are changing so rapidly.
I want to second Lori on that. The committee has been heavily involved in the redesign of the Future Leaders experience. We really have done a wholesale redesign this year, and the committee members have worked very, very hard. We're so grateful for their support, expertise, and involvement. We're also pleased to have two industry leaders representing both the retailer and supplier sides of the industry who are serving as our conference co-chairs. Now you will see Valerie Oswald of Mondelez and Joe Sheridan of Wakefern Food Corp on the first day, Sunday, and you will see them throughout the event. They will be welcoming us and helping to guide our journey through Future Leaders and share some of the ideas and thoughts they have on leadership and the skills needed in tomorrow's retail industry. Their leadership of this event exemplifies the support of the C-suite for the event and the importance of developing people in the food retail industry. Okay, we're almost ready to take questions. But if we don't cover something today that you still have questions about, we have contacts who can help you with the program, registration in other areas, and these are listed on the slide. And if you need anything, feel free to reach out.
So before we wrap up today, we'll be happy to answer any questions that have come up in the chat pod. If you have a question now and you haven't submitted it yet, feel free to send one. You just type right into that chat pod and we'll receive it. Do we have any questions, Carol?
Yes, we do have a question. Joni Roberts is asking when the app will be ready.
It will be ready closer to the event.
We will share that information when we send the information about this webinar, the webinar recording to you afterwards, but I believe it's about 2 weeks prior to the event, which will be approximately that week of May 30th, around the same time that we will be putting out your team assignments. So, but we will give you a firm date when we send a follow-up with the recording information for this event, or for this webinar. And I just answered one of the other questions, which was, will we share a copy of the presentation along with the pre-recorded webinar? And we absolutely will. This will be available from the FMI website. You see the link right on the screen right now, and we will also push that out to you via email once it's ready. It takes about 4 business days to get the recording back and edit out any mistakes, and then we'll have that available to you.
I know it says 24 hours, but it's usually more like 48 hours, so we will get that out though when it's done, and we're set with that. Are there additional questions anyone would like to ask before we wrap up?
I'd like to share something else that is that you may have picked up already through the presentation, but we didn't explicitly state. Those of you who are familiar with what we did in the past for this event may remember a series of 3 or 4 sets of worksheets that we would ask you to complete in advance of the program. And this year, the self-assessment will be part of the program and the activities that you do on site. And then we will be providing to you an action plan also as part of the activities. So those are things that you don't need to be worrying about. Instead, this year we are focusing on that team communication through the online tool and getting to know each other and familiar with each other in advance. Primarily because many of us are going to be working in unfamiliar team environments, which can take some getting used to, and we want to give everyone an opportunity to sort of get familiar with that. Depending on your personality type, some people love meeting new people, and other people like to get a little advanced, like to stand back and get to know people from a distance at first. So we're hoping to facilitate some of that through the communication tool.
Well, I don't think we had any more questions come in. I hope most of the questions people did have then were answered by the webinar itself. And we definitely hope the overview has been helpful to you. So we want to thank all of you for participating in the webinar today. If you think the webinar would be helpful to your other company colleagues who will be attending Future Leaders, please let them know the recording will be available, or they can send them the link when we send it out. And that can be viewed when convenient by them individually, or if you're going to get a group together, you could all watch it together. It will be linked on the education page of the FMI.org website, the link that you see on the slide. So with that, I'd love to thank you, and we definitely look forward to seeing you in Chicago. Carol?
Yes, we do, and I hope you can tell from our enthusiasm in our voices and in our description that we are really excited about the program that we have put together for you this year. We can't wait to see all of you in just a few short weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.